It's time now to let your body soften. Your shoulders, your jaw, even the space behind your eyes. Let it all loosen and drift. Take in a deep breath through your nose and let it flow gently out through your mouth. Again, slow, deep and quiet. Feel the warmth of your bed beneath you, like a soft woven blanket from centuries ago. The day is done now. The world can wait. You are safe. You are still. You are ready to listen. Now, close your eyes and let your mind begin to wander gently, quietly, into another place, a quieter time, a time when bells rang, not from phones, but from the towers of stone, a time of cloisters and candles, ink and echo. Our story today begins in a quiet monastery, nestled between hills where fog kisses the earth each morning. There is something sacred about silence that lingers in old places. Not emptiness, but presence, the kind of quiet that listens to itself. And this cloister, this ancient haven, hums with such silence. It moves like breath through the stone. Soft, warm, slow, cloister sleeps, curled like a comma at the altar rail. The chapel glows with a faint, invisible moonlight that slips through the high rose window. It paints pale circles on the floor, like coins of silver laid gently for dreaming souls. She stirs just slightly. Her whiskers twitch. She is not startled, just aware. Even in her sleep, she listens. Far in the distance, a bell chimes the midnight hour. It does not clang. It sings a single low note, like the world exhaling. It echoes through the courtyard and into the cloister garden, where the ivy sleeps too. Let's drift there now. Float like a soft breeze through the arched walkway, past a fountain of clear water, over tiles warmed by the memory of sun, into a garden hidden from time. This garden is not for show. It was planted by prayerful hands. Everything here has a purpose, a story. There is feverfew for headaches, chamomile for rest, lavender to calm the mind. And in the middle of it all, a sundial worn smooth by fingers long past. It no longer tells perfect time, but it remembers. Cloister has visited here many times. She knows every nook where mice may hide. But tonight, the mice are quiet. They too sleep under stars. She stirs again, uncurls herself slowly from the chapel rail, pads silently through the great wooden doors. They creak, but not rudely, just gently, as if they too are half asleep. The hallway welcomes her again with its cool stones and its soft, echoing hush. Her paws press the dust where monks have walked for centuries. Some stones are older than memory. Each has known seasons, winters, pilgrims, feasts, fasts, and now just Cloister, alone. Perfectly alone, she moves toward the dormitory, where rows of wooden beds cradle resting monks, each with their own straw mattress, their own woolen blanket. The beds creak softly as bodies shift in sleep. No one snores. Even dreams are quiet here. One monk, the youngest, a novice, still in training, keeps his hand resting near the edge of the bed, and when Cloister passes, she pauses, nuzzles his fingertips. He doesn't wake, but a smile curls faintly at the edge of his lips. A dream smiles back. She moves on, up a narrow staircase carved into the stone, spiraling like a seashell toward the top of the bell tower. Each step is worn, dipped by centuries of sandals and boots, and still she glides. The wind is faint here. You can almost hear it, rustling the ivy that clings to the outside walls, brushing gently against the window slits like a whispered prayer. At the top, the great bell looms. It is still, heavy with silence, waiting for the morning hour. Cloister nestles on the wooden beam beside it. She has sat here many nights, watching the valley below. The fields, the distant torch of a traveler's road. The stars above her blink like slow heartbeat pulses. The moon watches too, in silence. The night deepens now, not darker, but softer, like velvet pulled across the sky, and still the monastery sleeps. Not even the candle stubs remain lit now, only embers glow in the kitchen hearth, little orange eyes watching the darkness with contentment, and far above, where we last left her, Cloister stirs. She does not stretch yet, she simply shifts. Her chin rests now on the soft bend of her paw, tail gently flicking once, then settling still. A long, slow blink, then another. Then she rises. Carefully, quietly, she moves again, down the spiral stair, one paw after another. No rush, no sound. Like a shadow curling down the steps, halfway down, she pauses. There's a tiny slit of a window carved in the wall here. Just enough space for moonlight to slip in. She sits beside it and listens to the distant call of a nightjar in the hills, to the whisper of leaves in the windless trees, to the hum of time turning slowly. She listens, and so do we. Do you feel it? That deep, humming quiet that only ancient buildings hold, as though the walls themselves remember every footstep, every prayer, every breath. These cloisters were built stone by hands that hummed hymns as they worked. Limestone carried from the nearby quarry, mortar mixed with sand, ash, and sometimes even egg whites, to give the walls a smoothness that would last centuries. Imagine that. A wall held together by the same eggs you might find in a kitchen. But here, sacred, timeless, Cloister moves. Again, paws brushing over that smooth, silent stone. She steps into the courtyard, now bathed in silver-blue moonlight. There, in the center, stands an old olive tree. Not tall, not wide, but old. So old, the monks say, it was planted before the first roof of the monastery was even raised. They say the first abbot prayed beneath it, with hands in the soil, with heart open to the sky. Cloister walks beneath it now. The moon paints her stripes like shadows on silk. She pauses near the roots, brushes her side gently against the bark. A lopa hums from deep within her chest. It's not for us, not for the monks, but for the tree. And the tree, in its stillness, hums back. Not with sound, but with memory. Of rainfall in spring, of chanting voices circling in procession, of hands lighting candles in the garden, one by one by one. Far off, a night breeze stirs at last. It rustles through the cloister hedges, carries the scent of thyme and wet earth, and the faintest trace of beeswax. From long extinguished candles, Cloister lifts her nose, sniffs, then moves on. She weaves between the columns, passes the old sundial, pads silently toward the refectory, where monks take their meals. Inside, long wooden benches stretch the length of the hall. No voices now, only echoes, the kind that cling to stone and never leave. On one table, a monk has left a bowl empty now, save for a crumb of rye bread. Cloister leaps softly onto the bench, then the table. She noses the bowl, licks the rim, not from hunger, just curiosity. Then she sits and waits and listens. In medieval monasteries, meals were eaten in silence. A reader appointed each week would stand by a lectern and speak aloud scripture, while the others dined in stillness. No clatter, no conversation, just food. And the word cloister, of course. Never listened to scripture, but she knew the rhythm of the mealtime bells. the scent of stew wafting through the kitchen arch, the soft shuffle of sandals across stone. A small sound draws her attention now. A mouse? No. Just a creak. The kind of sound wood makes when it remembers. She hops down again, returns to the hallway, where one door glows faintly from beneath. She approaches, sniffs, pauses, then noses it open. Inside, a cell, modest, bare, a single cot, a stool, and on the stool, a small candle, barely flickering. Beside it, an old monk, awake. He is not startled. He simply nods to her. His voice is a whisper. Ah, ... little one. You're late tonight. She jumps up onto the cot, circles once, and curls beside his folded robe. He continues writing in a small book. Nothing grand, just a journal of thoughts. He dips his quill in ink, writes slowly. The candle glows, then gutters. He glances down at Cloister. Thank you, he says, as if she'd offered him company. And she has... Did you know? Some monks believed animals, especially cats, were placed in their lives by God, not as distractions, but as reminders of stillness, of presence, of gentleness. Cloister purrs now, a soft, steady sound. A sound like rain on the cloister roof, like breath in the chapel. The monk sets down his quill. He folds his hands, closes his eyes. Together, they breathe. The candle in the old monk's room flutters once, then gently fades. Not snuffed, just done, as if it, too, has fallen asleep. The room now rests in the blue hush of moonlight. Cloister purrs one last time, then settles her head against the monk's side. Both of them still, present, peaceful, and the hush returns, like a soft tide lapping the shore of the night. Outside, the monastery grounds slumber on, not frozen, but alive in slow motion. A different kind of waking, the way embers still glow beneath ashes, the way leaves shift in the dreams of trees. Cloister, warm in her spot, sleeps for a while, but not long. She has always been a creature of movement. Not restlessness, but rhythm. And soon she rises again. A stretch arched back, soft spine, pause, pressing forward. A yawn, then the quiet tap-tap of her paws as she slips back into the corridor. This time, she heads toward the library, the largest chamber in the a room of breath and parchment, of secrets and silence. The door is half closed, but she squeezes through easily. A small push with her shoulder. A familiar passage. Inside, the air is thick with history and dust. But even the dust is soft here. Books line the walls, not printed. No, each one was written by hand, bound in leather, some chained to the shelves, others resting on wooden cradles, like sleeping infants. In the center of the library, a great wooden table stretches, like a ship's deck, covered in scrolls, wax, seals, ink pots, quills, still wet from the last hands that touched them. And overhead, the ceiling arches like the inside of a shell. Painted long ago with stars and tiny angels, they watch, quietly, as Cloister walks beneath them. Her tail brushes the corner of an open scroll. It unrolls a little more, revealing a line of gold leaf lettering, a psalm, or a hymn. She does not read, but somehow she knows. This is a sacred place. She hops lightly onto one of the benches, then to the table, and at last, onto a cushion left on the window ledge. She curls again, always the same ritual. 3 turns. A press of the paws, a soft breath, and sleep. In her dreams, she runs through the cloister garden, but not alone. She is followed by other cats' ghosts, perhaps of those who came before, all silent, all striped like her. They weave through the lavender rose, chase moonbeams across the stone walk, leap onto the chapel roof with paws that never slip. Back in the waking world, a gentle knock echoes faintly down the far hall. Not urgent, just steady. It is Brother Anselm, the keeper of the bells. He rises each night at Lord's the hour before dawn. To ring the morning call, he walks slowly, staff in hand, robe brushing the floor. As he passes the library door, he glimpses Cloister through the crack. Asleep against the moonlight, he smiles and does not disturb her. He climbs the tower stairs, each step known by memory. He's walked them every day for 40 years. His lantern sways, throwing long shadows that seem to bow behind him. And when he reaches the bell, he places one hand against its cold bronze side and waits. Lord's comes not by the clock, but by the sky. He watches through the slit window, the eastern hills slowly blushing blue, the faintest edge of light like the first whisper after silence. And when the time comes, he pulls the rope. Not hard, not loud, just enough. The bell responds. A single note, low, deep, resonant. It rolls across the stones, into the garden, through the chapel, over the refectory, into every sleeping cell, and into the library. Cloister opens one eye, listens. She doesn't move. The sound fades, then returns. A second chime, then a third. Each ring like a breath, a heartbeat, a memory. And with the fourth chime, she leaps down from her cushion, pads past the scrolls, past the chained books and the open quills, back into the corridor. The monks are stirring now. One by one, they light their lanterns. Their sandals whisper across the floor. They murmur greetings, but not loudly. This is a quiet joy. They gather in the chapel. The candlelight flickers again. Gold returning to the altar, and Cloister is there. She slips between their robes, rubs against the old abbot's leg. He looks down, and as always, he bows slightly. They begin to chant. Soft Latin words, ancient and slow, fill the air like incense. Cloister paces once, then lies down beside the altar rail, just as she did hours ago. A new day has begun, but it is not rushed. It does not arrive with trumpets or shouts. It slips in gently, through stone and psalm and candlelight. And you, dear listener, are still here, still wrapped in the hush of this sacred space, still breathing with the rhythm of the cloister. Let it hold you, this stillness, this soft unfolding of the day. Let it carry you deeper, not into waking, but into gentler dreams. The monks chant on, the bells ring once more, and Cloister, guardian of the hush, closes her eyes. The day begins, but your sleep may deepen. There is nothing you need to do, no step to take, no page to turn, only rest, only warmth, only the sound of paws on stone. Let the hush wrap tighter now, like a velvet cloak around your shoulders. You followed each footstep through still halls, candlelit dreams, and sacred quiet. And now, the story deepens. The monks' chant weaves like mist through the chapel. Not urgent, not loud, a river of syllables, a tide of devotion. Latin rises and falls like breath. Gloria, and Cloister, still as the stone beside her, lets it wash over her, her eyes half close, her tail curls around her side, and again the soft purring begins. like a tiny organ beneath her ribs, one that plays only peace. The candles dance gently in their wax drips like honey onto trays of hammered brass, and behind the altar, morning light finally arrives. It begins as the faintest glow, spilling through the rose window, layering color on the stone floor like petals, red, blue, amber. The colors shift as the sun climbs, filling the space with a hushed kind of joy. The monks don't look up, but they feel it. Light on their robes, warmth across their folded hands, and outside, the garden responds. The herbs turn their leaves. The petals open slowly. The moss soaks in golden dew. Even the bees begin to stir. Tiny lives shaking off sleep, buzzing in circles before choosing a bloom. And Cloister, whose nap is brief but full, stands, stretches, and silently exits the chapel once more. She takes the long path, now through the outer halls, past rooms not meant for ceremony, but for the quiet maintenance of life. The storeroom, where clay jars hold dried apricots, chickpeas, and barley. The cellar, where salted fish sleeps in oak barrels. And the washroom, where robes soak in basins of lavender water. Each space smells different. Each has its own soft noises. Drips, sighs, the settling creak of old wood. And in one of these rooms, the infirmary, a gentle life stirs. Brother Thomas, the oldest among them, his bones have carried many winters. His eyes now see little, but his hands still move with grace. He sits upright in his cot, a blanket of undyed wool over his knees. A cup of warm nettle tea rests beside him, and when Cloister enters, he smiles without turning. Ah! The shadow returns. She leaps onto the cot beside him. Paws light, body warm. He reaches out, careful, slow, and strokes her head with fingers that tremble but never falter. They sit like this often, man and cat, silence between them like a shared robe. No need for words. Brother Thomas begins to hum, a soft tune from his childhood, not sacred, but sweet, a lullaby. Cloister's ears flick gently. She does not move. She simply listens. Outside, in the courtyard, a soft rain begins. The kind that never hurries, that falls like whispers on tiled roofs and ivy walls. The scent of stone grows darker. The earth drinks gratefully. A raven flaps overhead, winging its way toward the forest. It caws once, then is gone. And inside, the cloister seems to grow quieter still, as though the very rain has hushed in reverence. Brother Thomas speaks soise, voice barely more than breath. She comes and goes like the liturgy, without reason, but always in time. He does not know if he means the cat or something else. Cloister closes her eyes, and so does he. They nap together in the stormlight. Elsewhere, the rest of the monastery returns to its rhythm. The refectory fills with quiet breakfast, clinks, spoons stirring porridge, bread being broken by hand. A monk reads softly from the lectern. His voice is warm, measured. Outside the windows, raindrops gather like pearls on the glass, and beyond them, the woods watch in silence. Cloisters pause, twitch in her sleep, a dream again. Of running, of fireflies in the cloister garden, of doves lifting into the sky with the rising bells. And you, dear listener, you may feel it now. The blurring, the drifting, the dissolving of the line between dreaming and waking. You are here, with the cat and the rain and the bell tower, but you are also elsewhere. In your own warm corner of rest, tucked beneath blankets, floating. Breathe with her now. Let your breath stretch, then fall away like candle smoke. There is nothing to hold, nothing to chase. nothing to fix. Only this moment, this sacred pause. Cloister stirs. A final time, she rises from the cot beside the elder monk. Careful not to wake him, she moves once more through the halls. The stone floor, cold now. Rain-soaked air pressing in. But she is warm, and this is her cloister. She walks the same circuit she has traced for years. Past the scriptorium, past the chapel, past the bells, and returns again to the cloister garden. The rain has stopped. The air sparkles, leaves glisten, still trembling slightly. Cloister finds her place, beneath the old olive tree, the one planted before any monk had taken his vows, the one that hums when no one speaks. She curls there, one last time, nestled in the damp grass, tail over nose, and dreams. The day goes on, but here all remains still. Let your breath settle now. Let your thoughts curl like fur around your quiet mind. The monastery watches over you. The stones keep your secrets, and Cloister lies beside you. Silent, gentle, forever walking the halls of rest. Let us return now quietly to the soft stone world where morning has no edge, and where each breath leads you closer to dream. There is a sacred rhythm to this place, not kept by clocks, but by pause and bells and breath, the kind of rhythm you feel, not measure, the kind of rhythm that rocks you softly toward sleep. And Cloister, that small, striped keeper of time, lies under the olive tree. Still as the stones, the rain has rinsed the cloister clean. Raindrops bead like jewels on every leaf, and the stone walls, damp now, smell deeper of moss, of clay, of centuries. Sunlight returns, slowly, filtering through the ivy-covered arches, touching the earth with fingertips of gold. Birdsong stirs. First one, then another. Soft notes, like lullabies drifting up from the soil, and inside the monastery, life continues. The monks finish their morning prayers. Their robes rustle like wind in the reeds as they make their way to their work. Some to the fields, to gather herbs and tend the hives. Others to the scriptorium, to copy sacred texts with eyes steady and hands still. And one to the kitchen, where the day's bread begins to rise. Let us drift there now, through a worn wooden door, into the warm heart of the cloister. The kitchen, the stone floor is scattered with flour. The hearth glows with a tender fire, and tucked in the corner rests a basket lined with wool. It's here Cloister once napped as a kitten, before she grew into her quiet role, and sometimes, still, she returns to that basket, just for the memory. Brother Luca stirs a pot of lentils. Steam rises, carrying the scent of thyme, bay leaf, and garlic. He hums softly, a tune older than the walls, something his mother sang when he was just a boy. And when Cloister finally slips through the door, he doesn't turn, but he smiles. He places a bit of broth into a small clay dish and sets it on the floor beside the basket. She eats, slowly, gracefully, each sip like a prayer. And you, dear listener, you are still there, held by the rhythm of stone and breath, cradled in the cadence of sacred words, wrapped in the warmth of a monastery where nothing is rushed and everything matters. Let your breath match theirs now. Inhale, slow, exhale, softer still, let go, drift further. There is no edge here, only peace. Outside, the world may spin, but here, in this cloister of candlelight and fur and gentle song, time does not chase. It walks with padded paws and a steady heart. Cloister lies still. The monks chant on, and you sleep deeper. Each word, a lullaby. Each breath a step into dream. The bells will ring again, but not yet. Not now. This moment is only yours. This hush, this warmth, this rest. Sleep, dear one. Sleep with the cat in the cloister. You are floating now between waking and sleep, surrounded by the quiet hum of sacred stone, old wood, and soft fur. Let's go deeper. Did you know? In some monasteries, cats were written into the records, given names, given purpose. A 9th century Irish monk once wrote a poem about his cat Pangabam, a white hunter of mice, who sat beside him while he studied. And Cloister, though unnamed on any scroll, is no less part of this sacred place. She is as known as the bells, as loved as the olive tree, as constant as the quiet. After her meal, she walks the kitchen's edges, tail flicking lazily, then finds the sunbeam spilling through the high window and curls into it like a whisper. Her fur glows in the light, a blend of gold and shadow, and there, in warmth, she sleeps again. Time passes slowly, as it always does in places of peace. The fire cracks, the dough rises, the bees hum outside the kitchen wall, and deep in the library, a quill scratches paper. Ink flows like rivers across a parchment sea. The monks copy words not their own, but sacred, preserved by patience, by silence, and above them all, in the tower, the bell waits. Soon it will sing again. Not loud, not harsh, just one tone, deep, steady, to call them to midday prayer, to mark the sun's climb, to remind them to pause. And when that moment comes, Cloister will stir. She always does. She will lift her head from the kitchen floor, blink slowly, yawn, and rise. She will walk again through the sun-dappled halls, past woven tapestries that speak of saints and seasons. She will weave between the monks' legs as they gather in the chapel, her body brushing the hem of every robe. And when they bow their heads, she will curl again beside the altar, a small flame of stillness at the heart of their prayer. The chant will rise again, like breath after silence, soft, measured, sure, and the room will glow with something more than light. A hush that heals, a quiet that deepens, a stillness that knows you and keeps you safe. The sun now sits high above the cloister, warming every mossy corner and chasing away what little chill the rain left behind. But inside these walls, the hush holds steady. No matter the hour, the monastery moves gently, like water flowing in grooves carved by centuries. Cloister rests again, in a patch of sun on the chapel floor, her body curved into a soft comma, her tail flicking once every few minutes, a punctuation mark in stillness. She dreams, but not of gardens, not this time. She dreams of voices, not speaking, but chanting, low and layered, familiar. The monks' voices blended in harmony, like threads in a tapestry of air. She dreams of the bell tower, of standing on its wooden beam, high above the world, wind in her whisper. She dreams of walking the narrow rafters, balancing over beams that hold the weight of history, looking down at the scriptorium and the steady rhythm of hands and ink. And you, too, begin to float within the dream. Let your thoughts drift, like petals in a slow stream. Let your breath stay soft, safe, steady. You are here, held in this dream beside her. Back in the waking world, the monks return to their work after midday prayer. Brother Luca kneads dough in silence, flour dusting his sleeves. Brother Anselm oils the bell's rope, his hands reverent on the worn, braided cord. Brother Thomas sleeps again, this time with a slight smile, Cloister's warmth still lingering beside him. And in the scriptorium, A young monk sharpens a quill. He dips it into the ink, lets the tip settle just so, and then begins to write. The parchment is smooth, cream-colored, prepared days ago with lime and careful scraping. Each letter he writes is a prayer, not hurried, not forced, just steady, beautiful. And on the windowsill beside him, a familiar shape. Cloister. She has risen again from her patch of sun, found her way to this new warmth, and perches beside the monk, watching the letters flow like water. She does not meow, she does not move, she is simply there, like punctuation in the margin. He glances at her once, smiles, then continues copying. He's learned not to flinch if she walks across the scrolls. Once, early on, she had done so, leaving behind a perfect paw print in the wet ink. He had gasped, then sighed, but his teacher had only smiled and said, "Let her stay. Cats are blessings." And so she had. Did you know? In the Middle Ages, cats were sometimes drawn into manuscripts, not just as decorations, but as companions. One manuscript in the British Library shows a tiny feline curled in the corner of a page, drawn in brown ink beside a note about silence. Cloister, though not drawn, lives in every page these monks create. She is silence, made soft and warm and alive. Hours pass, the bell chimes again nones. The 9th hour of daylight, another breath in the rhythm of the day. Cloister jumps down from the sill, her paws tapping lightly against the wood, and walks once more through the open doorway, back into the stone corridor that smells of parchment and time. She pauses in the cloister walk. The covered hallway that wraps around the garden, stone arches open on one side, revealing green leaves and rippling sunlight. The air here feels alive, brushed by bees, held by ivy, dusted in gold. Cloister sits beside one of the arches, watches. Nothing in particular, just life. A leaf spinning slowly to the ground, a small spider inching its way along a low stone, a dove landing on the sundial, cooing once, then twice. She blinks, and you, watching with her, feel your own breath slow, your eyes soften, your thoughts quiet. There is no hurry here, no decision to make, no expectation to meet. Only this moment, only the hush, only the warm, slow now. Let your muscles release. Let your chest fall gently with each breath. Let your brow smooth, your jaw soften. You are safe, you are soothed, you are here. As the sun begins its descent, the long shadows stretch through the arches. The gold shifts to amber. Then 2 rows. Cloister stretches, a graceful arch of fur and sinew. Then moves once more, back toward the chapel. But this time, she doesn't enter. She walks to the side, to the stone bench tucked beneath the fig tree, a place the monks rarely go, but she visits often. She leaps up, curls into herself, and breathes. A single leaf falls. It lands beside her. The fig tree rustles, its branches sway with the hush of twilight, and in this stillness, the entire cloister exhales. Let yourself exhale too. Let your body melt into the bed or chair that holds you. Let the last pieces of tension drift away like dust motes in stained glass light. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are seen by the cat, by the wind, by the soft rhythm of breath in a world built for rest. Evening is near now. The monks will gather again. Candles will be lit. Psalms will rise. And Cloister will be there, as she always is, as she always has been. Not waiting, not searching, just been, and so, too. May you, the day is draw into a close in the cloister, and with it your breath slows further. The hush thickens, and sleep gathers like velvet clouds around your thoughts. Evening has arrived, not in haste, but in hush. The light withdraws gently from the sky, like a monk folding away his robe at the end of a long, quiet day. The monastery still glows, but now it glows inward. Lamps are lit by careful hands. One, then another. The flames catch slowly until they find their rhythm. Golden pools of warmth gather beneath the arches, flickering softly on the cool stone floor. And Cloister, our soft-footed guide, rises once more from her bench beneath the fig tree. She walks now toward Vespers, the evening prayer, not because she must, but because she always has. The chapel is full of breath again. Monks kneeling, heads bowed, voices low and slow. Cloister enters unnoticed. As always, she walks between rows of sandals and robes. The scent of wax and incense curls around her wisp. The chant begins. A low, humming invocation. Et martyram victorias. Each word, each tone, is soft as sleep. Cloister steps up to the sanctuary. She curls once more beside the altar rail, where the stone is always warm from candlelight. She does not purr now. She listens. Still, quiet, open, and you, beside her in spirit, may feel the soft echo of the prayer move through you, too. You don't need to understand the words, only the rhythm, the intention, the peace. Let it wrap around you like a worn wool blanket. Let it hold you. The candles flicker slightly. A draft whispers past the chapel doors. But nothing startles here. Nothing rushes. Even the shadows take their time as they stretch and lean across the marble floor. Did you know? Medieval Vespers marked the transition from the work of the day to the sacred rest of night. It was not just a pause, it was a return to silence, to stillness, to simplicity. The monks believed that in darkness one could listen more deeply to the whisper of the divine, as if she understands. Her eyes half close, her ears stay perked. She does not sleep yet, but she rests. Completely, the Vespers end. The monks rise slowly, each face lit by candlelight, each hand clasped. They walk past her, some noticing her presence, some not. A few pause to smile, to offer a silent nod. They know she is as much a part of this place as the prayers themselves. After Vespers, the cloister quiets further. No more voices. No more labor, only the gentle rituals of winding down. A lantern extinguished here, a scroll rolled up there. The courtyard sighs as stars appear, one by one, in the deepening sky. Cloister returns once again to the walkways. She slips into the garden where the olive tree watches over her. She lies beneath it, still, soft, and for a time, she simply listens to the wind in the vines, to the slow drip of water from a rain barrel, to the breath of the world, easing itself toward sleep. You, too, are easing, softening, drifting deeper. Every word, every sound is a soft hand on your back, a lullaby for your heart. Let go, float, sink into the silence with her. Above, the stars brighten. In medieval times, the monks called this hour the final prayer of the day. It was meant not to ask, but to thank, to give thanks for what was, for what is, and for the chance to sleep. And so, the monks gather once more, this time fewer of them, just those who still wake. Cloister joins them, not because she must, but because it is her rhythm, her way. The chapel is almost dark now. Only a few candles remain. One monk lights a single taper near the altar, a symbol of Christ's light in the darkness. The chant begins once more. quieter than all the others. Te lucis ante te rerum corretta possumus, a hymn to sleep, to night, to trust. Cloister nestles against the wall, her body curled tight, her breath slow. The monks' voices soften until they're no more than wind over grass, whispers through trees, the sigh of a page turning in an ancient book, and as the last note fades, they bow their heads and go, one by one. They leave the chapel, footsteps fading, until only the candle remains, and her Cloister opens her eyes once more, just once, then closes them again. And the hush becomes complete. The stone holds the memory of every note, the wax of every prayer, the air of every breath. Outside, night lays her full weight on the land. The fig tree dozes, the herbs curl their leaves, the wind tiptoes across the hills, and within the cloister, sleep reigns, not heavy, not demanding, just sure, kind, complete. Let your own breath slow further now. Let your shoulders fall. Let your thoughts become feathers, floating in the dusk. The story holds you. The cat watches you. Are safe. The cloister sleeps, and so may you. The stillness has thickened into a soft cocoon, warm, sacred, timeless, and so we return to the cloister, where the final shadows stretch long, and the story continues. Midnight comes softly. There is no tolling bell, no sudden cry to mark the hour, only silence, deep, complete, like velvet spread across the sky. In the monastery, all doors are closed, curtains drawn, lanterns out, only the stars burn now, like silver nails pinning the heavens in place, and even they do not blink. But in the cloister garden, there is still one watcher awake. Cloister, her body stirs in the shadows beneath the olive tree. She lifts her head, ears twitching at some distant sound. Not a threat, just a rhythm, a stirring. She stretches lazily, lovingly, and begins her moonlit patrol. She walks the familiar path, worn not by feet, but by memory, past the outer kitchen wall, still scented faintly with herbs, past the cloister walk, where ivy vines rustle like whispers in their sleep, past the old sundial, now useless under the stars, and into the open hallway where stone arches cast long shadows onto cool tiles. Her paws make no sound. Even the mice, who skitter only when the world forgets itself, do not stir. They know this cat. They know her not as a hunter, but as a guardian, a shadow made of fur and breath. In medieval times, some monks believed animals could sense spirits, not ghosts, but movements, ripples in the stillness that humans missed. And perhaps that is true. Perhaps Cloister feels them now. She pauses in the library. The door is cracked just as she likes it. The air smells of leather, wax, and sleep. No candles burn here now, but the moon spills through the high-arched window like milk from a silver chalice. She leaps onto the central table where scrolls still lie open. A page, a sentence left mid-line, but she does not read. She only sits, eyes wide in the pale light, as if listening to the thoughts still lingering in the room. And perhaps, somewhere in the corners, the silence whispers back, the echo of old prayers, the weight of meaning pressed into every word, the patient hopes of scribes, who never asked to be remembered. Cloister curls up on a folded wool cloth, meant to protect a precious codex. Her presence here is not disobedience. It is devotion. She naps again. Short, light, like a blink of time in eternity. You may feel your own breath lightening now, your body dissolving into stillness. You are breathing with her, moving through moonlight, resting beside old words, No thought is needed, no plan, no purpose, only being. In the far tower, the bell does not ring, but the stars do. They shimmer in perfect silence, telling stories older than books, stories written not in ink, but in light and space and stillness. And you are part of it now. This monastery, this hush, this night, you, too, have become a thread in the tapestry of silence. Cloister rises once more. Not in alarm, not even in thought. She simply follows the pull. That slow magnetic drift that leads her always back to the chapel. She steps in, and there, at the altar, a single candle glows, lit not by monk, but perhaps by the hush itself. Its light is small, but certain. Its flame stands tall, unflickering, unbothered by breeze or breath. Cloister pads forward, sits before it, and stares. She does not blink, for in this moment she is witness to the hush, to the stillness, to the sacred, to the space between one day and the next. You may feel it too. This hour with no name, not night, not yet morning, just presence, just quiet, just the soft waiting before the world begins again. Cloister lies down, this time, fully, head between her paws, body wrapped in itself like a sentence in a holy text, and finally, truly, deeply, sleeps. Let your thoughts now find that same silence. Let them fold, let them dim, let them settle like dust in the candlelight. There is nothing more to do. You are exactly where you are meant to be, in the hush, with the cut, in the cloister. Now, gently, we move into the final part of our story, where the night whispers its softest secrets and the last threads of waking unwind. The monastery breathes softly. Stone and wood exhale together, as if the very walls are settling into sleep. Outside, the stars watch silently, their light a gentle blessing on the earth below. Inside, Cloister dreams beneath the altar's glow, her breathing slow, even a rhythm as steady as the monk's chants from long ago. She is a keeper of silence, a guardian of peace, her presence a quiet promise that no shadow is too deep, no night too long. Imagine now that you are there with her, the warmth of stone beneath you, the flicker of candlelight playing on the walls, the softest hum of night folding around you. You feel safe, you feel held, you feel free to let go. As the monastery sleeps, the world outside grows still too. The wind hushes to a sigh, leaves rest. The moon pours silver like a gentle stream across the cloister garden, and you sink deeper, further. The day's worries dissolve, the mind's chatter softens, like a distant bell fading in the fog. You are drifting now, weightless.com/complete. And in this moment, the moment between moments, you find rest, not just in body, but in spirit. The cat in the cloister, silent and still, is your guide, your companion, your quiet heart. May you carry this peace with you into your dreams, into your sleep, into the morning light that will surely come. Thank you for sharing this sacred space, for walking these ancient halls with gentle pause, for listening to the hush. Sleep now, softly, deeply, peacefully. Good night.